Alright, this is part 3 of our lesson on solving by quadratic formula. Please put your pencils down, and if you need to watch the video, watch and learn, but then go back and do these problems by yourself to make sure that you can really do them. Alright, so problem number 10. The first thing we will do is calculate the discriminant, which is b squared minus 4ac. Okay, for this particular problem, a is 1, b is 2, and c is negative 2. Alright, that's like a, b, and c. So b squared minus 4ac, that's 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 2. Alright, this is called the discriminant. Alright, so there you go if you need it. And the discriminant is 12. Okay, let's go on with the quadratic formula, which says in a situation like this, x equals the opposite of b. Okay, so that'll be negative 2 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, well that's just our 12, all over 2a. Well, a is 1, so 2a is just 2. Okay, and the discriminant goes here. So I just wanted to color code that. So square root of 12, because that's my discriminant. Alright, now you should be able to simplify the square root of 12 yourself. Okay, because square root of 12 is just the square root of 4 times the square root of 3, so that's 2 radical 3. Okay, but just please understand that if you needed to, for some strange reason, you can't do this by yourself. Yeah, the calculator will do it for you, so just be aware of that if you have some sort of a problem. Alright, so the square root of 12 becomes 2 radical 3. Now we just need to simplify this if possible. Notice that all three of these numbers are all divisible by the same thing. Alright, there's a GCF here. Whenever that happens, I like to draw a heart around them to remind me that it has to be all three or nothing. But if they are all divisible by 2, like in this case, then we should do that. Let's divide all three of them by 2. Again, you cannot just do the pink ones. It has to be all three or nothing. Okay, so this is going to become x equals, and dividing these all by 2, they're all going to become 1s. So I'm going to have negative 1 plus or minus radical 3. Alright, this became a 1, but I don't need to put a 1 in the denominator. This became a 1, but I don't need a 1 next to a radical 3. The only one that I need is this one because it's off by itself. So this is the answer to problem number 10. Okay, let's take a look at problem number 11. We already have 0 by itself, so just check it out. A is negative 1, B is 6, and C is 1. You should always calculate your discriminant first. That's b squared minus 4ac. So that's going to be 6 squared minus 4 times negative 1 times positive 1. Alright, that will give us the discriminant. Okay, there you go. And that's 40. Alright, so we have a discriminant of 40. Let's put that in our back pocket and go ahead with the problem. Okay, so the quadratic formula says in the situation like this, x is equal to opposite of b, so that's negative 6, plus or minus the square root, alright, of b squared minus 4ac. Well, we just already did that, so I can just put 40, all over 2a. Well, a is negative 1, so 2a would be negative 2. So all we really have to do is simplify this. Now this square root of 40 business, we should be able to simplify that radical by ourselves, alright, because this is square root of 4 times square root of 10. That's 2 square root of 10. Alright, if you don't trust yourself to reduce a radical by yourself, there you go. Alright, so we have this. The radical 40 became 2 radical 10. Now, always check these three numbers to see if there is a GCF. And indeed there is. Alright, and I love to draw a heart around these three when there's a GCF, because that reminds me that it has to be all three or nothing. I couldn't just do the pink ones, for example. Okay, it has to be all three. But since these are all divisible by 2, let's do that. So that's going to give me x equals -3, alright, plus or minus the square root of 10 over -1. Okay, now I don't like to leave this like this. We don't need this -1 down here. Alright, when you have a denominator like this, you can take that denominator and write it separately. Let me see if I can get you to understand this or not. This would be the same thing as having -3 over -1, and then plus or minus radical 10 over -1. See what I did? I just took this and I wrote it separately underneath each one. That's legal. Alright, so if you look at that, then alright, -3 divided by -1 is +3. But look, you know, this would be sort of like negative radical 10, but we already have the plus or minus. We already have both signs, so dividing by -1 is not going to change anything. Either way, I have both signs, so it's really going to be invisible, the fact that this is changing to a negative radical 10. Alright, either way it's plus or minus. So I'm just going to have 3 plus or minus radical 10. Okay, so next time you have a situation like this, you know, just understand that you can just take these and make it positive, and you're done. So this is the answer. Most simplified answer for number 11. Okay, fabulous. Alright, let's move on to number 12. And I believe this is the last problem of the assignment. And so let's make it a good one. Alright, A is 4, B is 6, C is 8. As always, let's calculate the discriminant first. B squared minus 4AC becomes 6 squared minus 4 times 8. Alright, let's find that discriminant. Here's what it looks like. And we get negative 92. Alright, so the discriminant is negative 92. That means we will have two imaginary solutions. So watch out for that. So let's go ahead and do this. So x is equal to the opposite of b, so that's -6, plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. Well, we already did that, so I can just put square root of -92 all over 2a. 2a, that's 2 times 4, so that'll be 8. Alright, so we can go straight to that. Now, I know I'm going to have I. So with that in mind, let's focus on what's the square root of 92. Okay, that's 2 radical 23. Check it out. Okay, yeah, so the square root of 92 is 2 radical, whoops, I said 23, didn't I? Then I wrote 24. Alright, silly me. But like I said, imaginary when you have a negative under the radical. So don't forget your I, which will be sitting right there. Now look, once again, these three numbers are all divisible by the same thing. So I like to put a heart around them whenever that happens, to remind me that all three of these, it's all or nothing. So since all three of these are divisible by 2, we must do that. Okay, if this had been like a 3, then we would just leave it alone. Okay, so but we're going to divide these all by 2. So that's going to give me -3 plus or minus I radical 23 over 4. And that's it. This is the answer, number 12. Okay, 2 divided by 2 was 1. Don't put the 1. Alright, that's it. And that was the last problem of the lesson. So guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope you were not copying off of me, because you won't learn that way. Make sure you can do all these problems by yourself, so you will be successful. I will see you on the next video.